Hi everyone, this very quick video is put up for another very keen member, Alex Lightning, who's just put a video up on some British lamps. They're very good. Anything I say is I unfortunately cannot speak German. He speaks English perfectly. Anyhow, just not an answer, just a bit of further information concerning a beehive lamp that he showed, which was perfectly right and accurately shown. But this one will show what I'm trying to explain about the centre electrode becoming detached or almost detached. As a lot of you know, with the age of these lamps, these ones that I show here, the three of them are virtually brand new. When I say they're brand new, they haven't been used, they just haven't put in the hours of usage. They may be old, probably going back to the 40s, 50s or even before then, but fortunately they haven't been used. If they are used for a long time, the Swedish iron metal used on the electrodes, that's the beehive shape and the little disc inside, becomes detached and is thrown out onto the glass. So they will eventually, as Alex our video showed, they dim down quite a lot, and the centre electrode, which takes a brunt of the metal that is splattered onto the side of the glass, it wears it down to a fine point. Now I first noticed this many years ago while still at school. Someone else brought one of these lamps in, black, been used, and it was all loose inside, and the electrode has in fact detached, and the wires that were holding it just went to a point. So you think of two like needles where they've gone to a point, they've finally become detached, and that part of the electrodes dropped off. Anyhow, while we're doing this, let's have a look at these. I'm using the good old variable transformer. My setup is nowhere near as good as Alex set up for testing lamps. He's put a very good video up showing what he's made up, and I was very impressed. You know, it was all nicely done, it was all safe, and it looked to me that he could test virtually any lamp, being a discharge lamp or tungsten or just virtually any lamp, down to the modern LEDs. Anyhow, let's show what happens. This is set now. This lamp is actually our mains voltage, 220, 230, and my variac that I'm using, which I can show a picture of, you've seen before, that will go round to the maximum amount, which is 240 volts. Now if you look at the lamp inside, I'll turn it over, you can see if I turn it down a bit, there we're on about, I don't know what voltage that is, but it's about 100 volts. It's 100 volts approximately going into the lamp. You can see inside there's that disc. Now that disc is horizontal, but the thin wire coming out of that glass tube from the pinch to the disc, that gets worn down, and the metal is deposited, not just that metal but that one mainly, on the side of the glass, and the glass ends up being black. Just perceptible to see the actual beehive hence the shape of the actual beehive. I'm trying to think what the Germans call these. I've got it on some other ones, lamps that I've put up on YouTube. Anyhow, that gets worn away, and I suppose the slightest knock that the lamp would get knocks that down to a vertical position, as in case of Alex's lamp, or broken right off, like the one I remember when I was at school. God, that was going back a few years. Yeah, these lamps were originally used as night lights, and I remember these cost about 4 and 8 pence. That's in old money, many years ago. Anyhow, that's the later one of the neons. Let's turn him off and I'll put on another one. That's the actual lamp. You can see the disc inside. This one's had a little bit of use, but very little. It's got a slight darkening to the glass. The metal they use is Swedish iron. Some of the cheaper lamps, probably from the far east, made into animal shapes and flowers and that, they blacken up very, very quickly. It's obviously not Swedish iron they use. Now I've got a later Osram or Osglim. Can you see? I don't know if you can see that on there. The etch is not too good. Unfortunately, a lot of these etches were very bad. This has got the Osglim name, which was the earlier name for these. Now make sure the variac is off. That way there's no harm, because I'm pretty sure there is a resistor in these lamps, but don't always assume there is a resistor inside, and the voltage you might read, hold on, let's fiddle about with that, and the voltage you, I'm having problems here. So I've got this, sort that out. And the value, it says 240, should be the one that you're actually getting. You'll notice the beehive is more rounded. They're more rounded. Same disc inside, same insulating by glass. Let's light that one up and have a little look at it. That's just striking at that. Winding it up to full voltage. You might be able to see the etch on the top now, I don't know. But it would say 230, 240 volts. Osglim, made in England, with a code number on there, tells you the year, and this is showing the Osglim name. And that is a shape of the beehive, and the disc in the middle is virtually the same. Right, let's restore that to 0 before I put another bulb in. The next bulb we've got, let's take this one out. Will I show a close-up of that? The Osglim close-up clearly shows both electrodes, and in the cap or base would be a resistor. This is essential, because if we didn't have the resistor, the lamp would just explode. Now, what I'm putting on now read what's on the side. These ones you can see is 110 volts, so it's got the AC sign there. They will go on DC, but only half the element will light up. Now I know that that symbol was often used by Phillips. There's no etch on it, but that would have been made by Phillips, and the beehive effect is slightly different. You've got like a double coil, no centre electrode. You don't need the electrodes, are the two coils interwound. Now the juice is off. Now this is on 100 volts only, so I've got to be careful I don't wind it up too much. We're winding her up very gingerly, but I don't want to overdo it. There we are. It's just struck. We're showing what are we showing? No, that's what I'm going to put it to. That's approximately 110 volts. And we can see the nice glow it's got, and the way the centre the two wires in the middle join up to the coil itself. There's two coils wound together, and that serves as the two electrodes. Once again, this lamp has had very little usage, and it's one in the collection. I've got quite a few neons I've picked up over the years. You often, well, not say often, you occasionally see them on eBay, but they go for silly money. Some cases nearly £100, which to my mind is just over the top. Anyhow, that's the Phillips one with the screw base, and this ends this short video. I hope you enjoy it, Alex. As I say, I wish I could speak German, but unfortunately I can't. And the fact that you were speaking English in the last one, I don't feel quite as guilty as giving answers back in English. I know now that you can understand them. So once again, thanks for watching. Thanks, Alex, for a very good video showing some of our vintage lamps, including the Hunter light, which is quite rare. Anyway, I'll try and get more lamps up, so just wait and see what I put up next. Thanks again for watching. Any questions, please ask. Any info, I'll try and give the answer to you. And thanks again for watching. Thank you.